Oh, hello, hello. Welcome, everybody, to Real Talk. We shall wait a moment for SoSharpDavid to get on. I hope everybody's doing great this evening. We're having a little beverage this evening, and I hope you are too. Hey, DK, good to see you. Marion, good to see you. Thanks, everyone, for coming out. I really, really appreciate it. Hey, Nick, we're having this Stella Artois Solstice Lager, which I really like a lot. Hey, Alejandro, Christian, let me see if I can add David to the mix here yet. Just a second. I don't see him yet. He's running late as always, and so I have to carry the load. But, got big, strong shoulders for that. I hope everybody is doing great today. Let's see if David is available yet. No, he's not there yet. There he is. I just saw him. If I can get him on here. Go live with. There we go.
Let's hope he has his earbuds in order. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. Hope. There he is. Alas. There we go. Now we can adjust the camera.
Yeah, how's it going?
You got earbuds?
Oh, shit, I forgot my earbuds.
Yeah, go ahead and grab them, and we'll talk to the crowd. By the way, if anyone has questions for us, feel free to submit them. And also, Pete Charkalis is going to stop in a little later and answer some questions. So if you have more questions that were left over, tee those up as well. There we go. Thanks, Colonel Conk. I thought I saw Melody, maybe from Moon Soaps, Raza. A lot of nice people. Thank you. We really appreciate it. Traveling to the coast right now. DK is on the move.
Nice.
Lancaster. Hey, Andre. How you doing? Hope you're doing well.
Is
have
there
your
anywhere
ears
that's
on?
nice? Is there anywhere nice up and down the West Coast right now with all the fucking fires everywhere?
Oh man, yeah, it's pretty tough. It seems like the world is on fire right now. And if it's not a figurative fire, it's a literal fire with just everything that's going on. Today's 9/11, which is, of course, a solemn day for us. And one of the things I hope that I'll just start out with is right after 9/11, everybody was sort of looking out for each other. Everybody was, just had good vibes. And also I noticed that a little bit at the beginning of the Rona. People are like, be careful. Help your neighbors, help the elderly, and a lot of that seems to have went by the wayside over the last few months. So I hope maybe we can get back to some of that, just good vibes, good stuff. We're due, I think, for some good things happening.
Well, that's a long gone now, man. Unfortunately, everybody's at each other's throats already.
Well, that's a great thing about this. We don't have to be. Did we see Dave Callie in there? What are you drinking, by the way?
Well, it's Modelo time here in the Gonzalez house. So I got the Modelo Especial, the traditional one. Nice and refreshing because it's warm. It's cool outside, but it's hot in this fucking sweat box of a restroom of mine. So, something refreshing.
I can understand. Jude from Kentucky, hello. Junior, dude of shaving, hello.
What up, Junior?
So Junior brings something to mind that we can sort of start off with. Junior got that craving shaving boar knot like 1-2 weeks ago from Charles from Craving Shaving, and I've been looking at Charles's brushes too, just keeping an eye out for the right handle, because when there's one that really appeals to me, I will grab it. And I've been seeing some that are close, like almost, and I might try one of those boar knots, because Junior was like completely head over heels for that boar knot, and I know you have different feelings about boar.
Well,
does boar eat? So let's just get to it. How do you feel about boar? It's easier to do it that way.
Well, first off, in terms of face feel, a nice, well broken in, nice quality board brush feels nice to the face. The actual use of it feels fantastic. But the overall performance, the way they eat lather, not even eat lather, but I think just something, the way the hair is, it kills the lather towards the back end of your shave. That third pass, there's such a huge drop off in the quality of lather. And again, there's no shame in reloading on the puck if you want to,
Sure.
but it just every single time I don't want to have to deal with it.
Marvis, big dude. So Heather was saying she has to reload boar like 4 times to shave her legs. And that's something that you've been saying is you feel like boars eat the lather. Why do you think that is? Because I really don't know, but I have noticed similar things. Boar lovers say it's not the case, though.
Well, again, boar lovers, they're full of shit if they say they're the best performing fucking knots. They're just not. They're inferior in terms of the overall performance, in terms of that lather.
How so? Just producing lather and not...
Yeah, the way it produces and the stability of your lather in that board brush is so far behind Badger and even synthetic. And you know I hate synthetic. I hate the actual use of synthetics. But synthetics make such a far more superior lather than a board brush. It's not even close. It's not even in the conversation, really.
So what is it that you think that causes it? And what way do you think the boar hair is different from Badger that causes that eating of lather? I don't know.
I think it's somehow, I believe, again, I'm no scientist, so I'm just kind of talking out of my ass slightly here. But
Hey, shady.
I notice when I could leave a Badger brush soaking for 10 minutes and it'll feel similar to if I had it soaking for 2 minutes. That's not the case with a boar. If a boar soaked for 2 minutes and a boar soaked for 5 minutes is quite a bit different in feel. Why that is, I don't know. Something about how it absorbs water is different. So I would imagine that affects the lather in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I don't know. I've noticed that some boars eat lather too, but I don't use them often enough for it to be an issue. I know that they can be very soft and they can feel very, very good once broken in, but I don't know about the lather eating. I just don't use them enough to know. When I used to use them regularly, I don't recall having a big problem with them. But one of the things I'll say is the soaps now have changed a little bit to where they're so creamy and they have all the butters in them. I don't know that the lather today is necessarily the same as it might have been 7 years ago when I was using more boars and badgers. I don't know. I think Magic Mike maybe talked about that, where because some of them are so rich in these ingredients that they think the hairs might sort of absorb some of that. I don't know. I'm just speculating.
I'm sure the difference in the lather, and we know the ingredients have improved or they're more conditioning now than they were 8 years ago. That's not a secret. It has to have some type of effect on the hair. Whether it's a negative effect, I don't know, because I don't see a drop off in performance even after I just went through and cleaned all of them. I didn't notice much of a performance uptake or downswing, nothing. They're pretty consistent. So I don't really know how much that really is affecting the hair. It may do something, but I don't think it's negatively affecting.
So the next topic that I've written down, because I really haven't got a good answer on this, and I know you've been honing. I just got one of your razors this week. I used it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was nice, smooth, comfortable. Comfortable for me is where it's at with the blade. Obviously, here's something that I think some people misunderstand. It's got to be sharp. If it's not sharp, it won't be comfortable. It won't be smooth if it's not sharp, because if it's not sharp, it will tug and it will feel rough. It's got to be sharp, but also smooth, and then I enjoy it. And so that blade I really enjoyed. However, 2 months ago, I want to say, you and Junior, now Junior was making a big production of the Game of Hones. And so you were going to hone some razors and send them out to folks. And Junior, the dude of shaving, or Sweet Ass, as he's known, was going to hone some razors and send them out. And nothing has happened. Only you have sent your edges out. And Junior is still sitting with thumbs up, who knows where.
Well,
what happened
Junior talks Junior talks a big game, but he has the attention span of a fucking goldfish. So he pretty much just goes off and does other things. He's bought 55 soaps since then that he's not going to use probably for a year. And I think he's honed maybe a total of 3 razors, so he's totally lost interest of honing. So he just doesn't care. He just lost all interest in what we were doing here.
Is there any chance that this game of hones will be resurrected, and maybe there can be some sort of real contest and competition where the winner wins something, and maybe get something to spice up that competitive spirit of Junior and get him back in the game? Because I was really wanting to see how that went down.
Well,
Hey, Rico, Daniel.
I would love to. I would love to, but I just don't think he has the heart for it. I don't think I think he gets a lot of abuse from the community, from people like Ray Pope and Anthony, that so affectionately named him Sweet Ass. So I don't know if he can handle much more disappointment in terms of me picking his sweet ass.
Well, there you go, Junior. You have been challenged. So you're still up for it. Let's just be clear. Are you still up for the challenge?
Absolutely, I absolutely am.
And so we just need to get Junior on board.
He's already said like 3 times that he's on board, but he never does anything.
Okay, so Junior, I know you're watching. It's time to get back. It's time to make some memes. It's time to get that competition going again. I know you're going to have to do some honing. I honed one today myself that I'm looking forward to trying. We'll talk a little bit more about honing in a little bit. But this week, I got this in the mail from you. And no, it's not the marital aid. It's not the marital aid. I got this.
Oh,
And
Jesus.
When I opened it, I thought initially that it had been capped off for a long time. Sometimes when a soap is capped off for a real long time and maybe it sets out in the sun, it gets funky. And then you told me you had just uncapped it prior to sending it. And this scent, the thing that gave me a little bit of, I didn't feel as bad, because other people in the comments said they had the same sort of reaction to this particular soap. And
yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Oh, brother, it's bad.
So I've smelled it every now and then throughout the week just to see if maybe it gets better. And it's never gotten to the point where it's tolerable for me. I will say at first I was really repulsed, and now it's like, okay, I just don't like it. So it hasn't gotten considerably better, but it's not bad as it once was. It's just not a pleasant.
Now you're just trying to be diplomatic about it, dude. I just seen the shit face you had after smelling it. You clearly hate the fucking scent. Just admit it. It's okay.
It's just not a pleasant scent. And it's not one that, I would consider. I don't even know if they make this anymore. Somebody commented on the video.
I hope not. It shouldn't be allowed.
Now, here was the funny thing about this. I also, in that same unboxing, opened the Angelique Fougere. And that is one of the best. The Barrister Man Fougere Angelique is one of the best Fougere, maybe the best Fougere I've ever smelled. It is citrus forward. It's fantastic. There's nothing dark about it, which is, in my opinion, unusual for Barrister Man, because they tend to dwell in dark, sort of scents a lot of the time. It is fantastic. Like the Fougere Angelique is legit. I went from the Fougere Angelique, which is it's probably my favorite Fougere of all time, to one of the worst scents that I've ever smelled in the same unboxing. And so that was part of it. After I looked back on it, I was like, well, that's interesting. The Fougere Angelique is just terrific. Like it's awesome.
I've never smelled none of his Fougeres, I believe. Just one thing though, I have to thank Barrister Man for a scent like Night Music, because it brings me back down to earth and it makes me appreciate the soaps that are plain orange, plain lime, plain lavender. Scents like that where people overthink some shit and just end up with a complete train wreck brings me back down to loving something like Maddie Lindholm soap, where it's just plain orange.
Simple.
That shit is just
good.
Pleasant. There's no way this should be able to offend anybody, barring some kind of allergic reaction to an ingredient. This should not offend a soul on this earth. it's just great. And sense like that make me appreciate just the basic, simple stuff that I could just always come home to and just be like, yeah, this is good.
So this is one of those sense where, people say barrister man takes risk, whereas some people play it safe. This was definitely a risk. But the funny thing is, in the comments, some people said they loved it. It's one of their favorite scents. For me, it is a no-go on every level. I was glad to get to smell it because I'd always heard about it. And I thought, it can't be that bad. And then I opened it, I was like, it's that bad. So I'm going to allow somebody else to. I think Junior said he wanted to smell it. I can't imagine he'll like it, but
You just never know. It's just one of those situations with people that like that soap. There's people in this world that like to wear assless chaps. Doesn't mean it's okay to do so. So you're
well,
still
okay.
wrong.
I mean, I don't
You can love assless chaps. It's still fucking wrong. You shouldn't do it, but you can do it.
I would say wear whatever you please as long as it's in accordance with the law. That's what I would say. So the next is also brush related because this has come up a few times. And I don't know who mentioned this to me, but someone in either a video or a comment mentioned to me like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, brush burn. And I had never thought about it nor heard about it. And so then when I realized that, oh, wow, yeah, that's indeed a possibility, I started mentioning it on the channel. And as a result, a few people said, hey, I stopped scrubbing my face so much and now my irritation is gone. I don't have irritation anymore. And so the reason I wanted to air it is to once again just let people know that a couple of things. One, your face has to adjust. But two, there are some people that are that become irritated to scrubbing their face with a brush, especially excessively, especially in the neck. I had at least probably over the months 5 or 6 different people said, I stopped scrubbing my face with the brush and now I just lightly paint it, or when I do swirl, I don't really dig in and I just do what's required to make the lather and I don't have irritation anymore. Prior to that, they were blaming blades and razors. And so no one ever considered that when you're doing all that lathering, that you might also be irritating your face while doing that. Your thoughts?
That's actually true. I was actually fortunate early on because I found out about that brush burn real early, literally before I even found the Facebook groups. I was using a brush, which I think is a fantastic thing to do on its own. But I was actually washing my face with a badger brush just to scrub everything, and it feels good on your own. But when you do that before a shave, it was destroying my face. So I discovered that was a variable messing me up early on. But if I didn't do that extreme action of actually washing my face prior to shaves with a badger brush all over, I probably never would have considered that the lathering process was causing irritation. Again, that was excessive use. Now that I'm down to just regular face lathering, it's not a problem. But like, I could see how people can miss it because you always think of the metal that's touching your face is going to be what's harsh, not the plush, whatever brush you're using, whatever hair you prefer.
Heather, for example, said that face lathering often irritates her skin after those lather battles. So that is something that can irritate you. So the only reason I brought that up is for the viewer's benefit. If you happen to watch this and you're getting regular irritation, you might want to consider that. Just try some painting or something less aggressive and see if it helps, because I remember people blaming everything under the sun. Those blades irritate me. I can't use the razor, so on and so forth. And so, it's something to consider. Now, the next topic.
Oh,
today,
before you go to the next topic, Chris, I would just to add to anybody that is struggling with irritation during their shaves, change one variable at a time. Because if you change everything or you change multiple, you really can't pinpoint what's causing the problem. So start from the beginning and change one thing. Bam. see how that works, and go and work through your whole shave to really pinpoint what was the problem.
Yes, that's excellent advice for almost every situation. Whether you're working on a computer, whether you're working on a car, you 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 try to figure out things one thing at a time. If you change a bunch of stuff, you will not know how you actually solve the problem. So that's excellent advice. Thank you for that. The next subject is today is the 11th of September, which means we got 11 or 10 more days. I don't know, 11 more days of summer left. The last day of summer, I believe, is 22nd of September. Why are these artisans rushing the fall scents? We don't need the pumpkin and all that. This is still summertime. This is still lemon. This is still watermelon. This is still kiwi. This is still coconut, sunshine, orange. Why are we rushing the fall scents? It's not fall yet. We don't need that.
Well, first I want to say, since it is September 11th, I want to say happy anniversary to the Scented Shoulder Shaves YouTube channel. I'm glad that you made it to your 1 year anniversary, kind of.
No.
But I think what's going on with these artisans, they see their local Target and their local Walmart already changing the decorations and already selling Christmas stuff, and they already start moving away from the bright summer sets.
Heather she says she has 2 summery scents, so I'm happy about that. But already I was saying like pumpkin spice. I mean, we can't wait to get the pumpkin. Let's be honest. Anybody who's ever carved a jack-o'-lantern or a pumpkin will tell you, pumpkin does not smell good. Go cut a pumpkin open. It smells kind of musty. It's not a pleasant scent. I think people think about pumpkin pie, where you have brown sugar and all the sweetener in there. It's not pumpkin really that is that attractive scent. Go cut a pumpkin open right now and smell it. It's not that pleasant.
No,
it's not that pleasant. So the pumpkin stuff is out of control because people have figured out that they can just hit everybody with this pumpkin stuff, and it's like, you know. And I realize people like the pumpkin, the coffee and all that kind of stuff. I mean, they dig it. But it's like now the pumpkin stuff starts rolling out, the pumpkin beer, the pumpkin. And I'm like, you know, pumpkin pie, people enjoy. For me, the best part of pumpkin is the seed. If you cook the seeds and spice them up, pretty good snack. But apart from that.
Yeah, I grew up with my mother making the pumpkin seeds. So those were always nice. It's a bitch getting them out of that the fuzzy insides.
Yeah, and it's hard to get all that mush out of there, and it's stringy inside when you're trying to get a nice jack-o'-lantern carve on, and it's shrink. I mean, we've all carved, or at least most of us, if we've had kids or when we were kids, carved, and it doesn't smell good. It really doesn't. And so all this stuff about pumpkin, and I think it's what's in people's heads after they spice it up with cinnamon or all this other stuff that they put in it, brown sugar. You know, it's not the pumpkin. Yeah, like somebody said, pumpkin is a squash, you know, essentially. It's like, it doesn't really smell that good. It's all the other things. So we should just get rid of the pumpkin part, go on with the cinnamon and the brown sugar and all those spices that they actually throw in that's actually not pumpkin, that they're calling pumpkin. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think the appeal. Oh yeah, Reyes, baby, what's up, Reyes? I think the appeal of the pumpkin pie and the complexity of all the spices that go along with it attributes to all this stuff. And let's face it, you white people love all the pumpkin latte stuff. You white folks are really making pumpkin a real thing. Because I'll tell you, us Mexican folks, we don't use pumpkin for shit.
I've seen so many memes about white folk and pumpkin. Like it's like almost another Christmas, you know, apparently. But I'm just not down with it because, like, I like pumpkin pie, but you know, it's not that big a deal. But the reason I brought it up is because the fall scents. I'm already seeing the pumpkin, and it's like, let's bring the fall stuff up. And I'm like, wait a minute, we got almost 2 weeks left. We can still have some good summer. You know, I don't want to move to fall too quick.
Yeah, dude, I'm a fan of,
for me.
I'm a fan of brighter scents. Not so much the sweet stuff, but I love citrus. I do love a lot of citrusy stuff, whether it's the cologne type or a little bit more of a natural citrus. So that does bum me out. But It's not horrible for me because I do like a lot of traditional, old school manly spices, which are
Okay.
giveaway. The giveaway we're going to talk about a little later is an old
Yes.
school spicy scent. I enjoy those scents as well, but my favorite genre is probably going to be some of those citrus scents that we've been seeing during the summer. So that is a little unfortunate, but it's not a horrible transition for me because I do enjoy spicy.
Right. So the next topic is just one of those things that I see coming up from time to time, and I'll see people commenting in various spaces about the state of the community, and they go, "Oh, the community is bad right now." And every time I see that, I'm triggered because it's like, where were you guys 7, 8 years ago? Like, we have a few episodes that flare up. And when there's a little bit of disagreement, it flares up. People rush to it, even though, again, everybody says they don't want any involvement with it, or they don't want to talk about it, or they don't want to hear it, but they rush to it every single time without question. And a few of those episodes flare up, and then the entire community gets branded. Oh, this is terrible. This is the worst time I've seen it. And I can tell you, even with the recent things, it's the best time I've ever seen it. People are still friendly. People still support each other. There are so many good people that are willing to give you their time, to help you, to do things for you. A lot of us included. We give of our time. We give, uh, in any number of ways, constantly. And the artisans are out there. They're giving of their time. They're like tonight. Douglas, contributed something for a giveaway, which we really appreciate, and we'll get to in a little bit. But there's so many good people who are doing so many good things, helping each other out. Like I
What up,
can't
Pete?
forget when I first started straight razor shaving, how many people did a private video with me to go, "Hey, try this. I noticed you did that." Or just giving their time. Just and your time is the one thing you cannot get back. Your time is irrecuperable. Once you give someone your time, it's gone. And there are so many people that freely give their time, which is extremely valuable. And I have not seen it. It's good now as it ever has been. And I can tell you for a fact that 7, 8 years ago, it was far worse. It was far more negative. There were people who didn't want to see a new person come in. They tried to run them off. And every time I see this, oh boy, the community's not what it used to be. I was like, oh yeah, it is. It's unless you mean it's better than it used to be. I don't know what you're talking about because it has been far, far worse. A few little episodes here and there does not make the community negative or anything like that. Go ahead.
I agree with you, man. It's one of those things that it's the confirmation bias. People think a certain way, and they find any little particular evidence they can to really highlight that opinion and to really reinforce that opinion. And just like with the stuff that's going on around in the world right now, not all cops are bad. Oh,
True. Mm-hmm.
look at the rioters. They're look at the protesters. They're all looting. No, not all of them are. It's
Right.
actually a small percentage of people doing the bad shit. But we just love to point out the bad shit. I don't know if it's in our nature. I'm not a psychology major, but we love to point out the wrongdoings of others to help us feel better about whatever the fuck it is
True.
that we're doing. So that's the unfortunate side effect of it is, oh, the shavings drama. No, it's about a few people. We talk about it. I usually mention drama that goes on in the community because it's funny as shit to me half the time. But again, there's always those sour pusses, those sad sacks that want to fucking see, oh, look, see, I've been telling you guys, shaving's nothing but drama. These are just some people that are not well adjusted. They want people to feel the same way they do because misery loves company. And it's really just played up much more than what it really is.
Yeah, I think that's what it is because overwhelmingly, on a day-to-day basis, like the people that I communicate with are positive people that if you call them, they're there for you. They got time for you. And I mean, the
I love
few
the
little
community.
the few
I
little
love the
things that
community, dog.
happen, every now and then people get irritated. They get at each other's throat. They have disagreements. But overall, it's a really great group of people who really try their best to get along. But anytime you bring people together, various demographics, various ages, races, countries, you're going to have disagreement. and people are passionate about the hobby, and that's going to happen sometimes, and it's just the way it is. But it does not make the community negative or it's so bad or so on. So when I see that, I'm like, man, I don't know what you're talking about, because 98% of my time is always spent having a great time, and it's probably 99.9 to tell you the truth. The rest of it is just nothing more than a speed bump.
Oh yeah, dude. And don't get sucked into this narrative that people try to say. Oh, other hobbies aren't like this. Yes, they are.
Yeah,
I'm
they
part
are.
of barbecue
They are.
groups. I'm part of cigar groups. I'm part of gun groups. Shit like this flares up in every single group. Again, people just try to fucking lie and bullshit their way to making a point so that they look correct. This shit happens
It
everywhere.
does. It
Period.
does. So did you bring the brush in there by any chance?
I'm in my restroom, so it's pretty close.
Can we see it just for Junior's benefit? I hope Junior's still here.
If his wife allowed him to.
What's that? Look at it. He's like, dude, let's see it. Show it. The brush.
Hey, let me just preface this where I feel that once again Chris is attacking my culture.
I'm not.
Pottery
Totally
is very popular and very valued in the Mexican culture, and here comes the white man again, just trying to destroy everything that I believe in, and I am totally just hurt by it. Look at how perfectly that fits in the hand, though. Look at how perfect that shit fits in the hand, dog. That's fucking perfect. Look at that.
I can't look at it. I pour another beer. This time we're having just Blue Moon tangerine peel, because I like citrus even in my drink.
I love Blue Moon, but they're kind of heavy for me, so I don't mind having them with dinner, like one. But if I'm drinking to like get drunk, I can't do it.
Whew. I gotta breathe. That was fun. Thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
You're trying to destroy everything about my culture here, Chris. Damn colonizer.
Now, I know every time I even bring this up, people get upset, but I was talking to you about it, and I got to say this. Artisans. I got this from West Coast Shaving. All right, so you see that right there? I don't know if that label's been cut or whatever, but it was all banged up when I got it. So sometimes the reason I wanted to mention this, and the label's all wonky and crooked, sometimes these might come to you, and from wherever you got them from, they've beaten them up. So it doesn't mean Pete sent this to West Coast and then that label got cut or whatever happened to it and started to peel off. Because I got some Talbot stuff and it was all beat up. So one of the things to consider, if you order from a reseller, they might be setting on shelves or getting knocked over, or they might get banged up. So it might not be the artisan who put it out this way. You know, because this particular one was just wonky. The side label is just wonky. I showed it to you earlier and it's crooked, and then it looked like it's been cut and it started to been peeled off. And you know me, I look at everything and I like it to be nice and tight, you know, like this one is. It's tight, nice. The label's put on there straight.
It's just one of those things, dude, that it's one thing to be nitpicky and if it's a small thing. But that was a real obvious one. It's in plain sight that it's fucked up. Again, I've never received anything that looks like that from Peter.
Right. So that's why I brought it up.
It's a bit shocking in that sense, and because since you bought it at West Coast Shaving, and yes, regardless,
right,
it shouldn't have left Peter's store. It shouldn't have left Peter's place like that. Which again, I know Peter. I don't believe it. I don't believe it would. I personally don't believe it would. But right, let's just for the sake of this argument, it shouldn't have left his place like that, and it should not have left West Coast.
The tighter the better.
it shouldn't have left West Coast Shaving like that. Somebody along that line should have stopped and said, "Nah, this is not okay." Either if Peter did in fact send it that way, which again I don't believe so, but if he did, West Coast Shaving should have said, "Hey Peter, this label's fucked. So can you send us another one?" And they should have replaced it manually themselves. It just shouldn't have been sent out that way. Oh, and let me address DK real quick. DK, I love Blue Moon. I do drink Blue Moon. I just can't drink Blue Moon to get drunk because it's too heavy for me. I feel real weighed down when I drink too many of those.
So the reason I brought it up was just to remind people that if you get it from a reseller, it might get beat up at the reseller, because I've had a couple now this way, and my Talbot was that way, and part of the label was actually torn off. And so sometimes it can happen in the mail too. So consider that maybe it didn't start out that way. That's the only reason I'm airing it, is just to say it can happen. And it was like, when I got it, it was like, what the heck is going on with this? I've never had this happen, from A&E before. So, just thought I would show that. So let's get to the giveaway, because I know some people will be interested in that. So Douglas Smythe has been kind enough to donate a set, which is Diver Down, which is based on the Seaforth Spice aftershave. And the way that you can enter for this giveaway is, I have a video that will be going live on YouTube, IAMCDB.com, at 3 a.m. Saturday morning, coming. All you have to do is hashtag Real Talk. Hashtag Real Talk. On our next Real Talk show, we will do a random comment picker for that hashtag. You must be present to win, which means somebody that's probably here tonight who will come back in the next Real Talk 2 weeks from now, not next week, but the following week, will win. So if somebody on YouTube, if we pick their name but they're not in the Real Talk next time, they won't win. We'll just spin again until we get somebody that's actually in Real Talk, because this is a Real Talk giveaway. And by the way, make sure you follow Phoenix Shaving. I believe it's Phoenix_Shaving, or is it Phoenix Shave? I'm not sure.
Phoenix_Shaving. Follow Phoenix_Shaving.
They did kindly donate this for giveaway, and we appreciate that because it helps the show. And this reminds me of Old Spice. It is not an exact copy. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be inspired by Seaforth. It is a spicy, old type scent. And
something that for me, Chris, that sets it apart from like a Old Spice, it has a particular lavender note that I absolutely love. I love the lavender note that I picked up there.
And Reed said he likes the label, and the label is pretty cool. I like those diver helmets and that sort of retro vibe, which I think is pretty cool, actually. I like that. I used it. The video will air again in the morning at 3 a.m. Just hashtag Real Talk. That's all you have to do. Come back for our next show. We'll do the randomizer, and you will have a chance to win the set. Thank you very much, Douglas. I was going to give away this one, and Douglas said, no, let me give one away, and I'll send it to the winner. So I said, okay, thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So remember to do that. Just comment Real Talk, and you'll be in to win that. Thank you very much. Okay, next topic. Anybody saying anything funny?
Oh, Nate asking, where's my face on the label, Dick?
Nate said that? Skeletor?
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey, guys,
nice.
Don't forget, we are going to be finishing up this show with taking some of your guys' questions. So do you guys have questions?
And,
make sure to hit that little
Peter
question mark
Chartelis will be answering some questions, too. So if you got questions for Pete, send them. I know we got 4 in the can there, so that'll be outstanding.
Little Peter, baby. Little Peter.
So, Shavettes versus straights. We've been hearing a lot of this recently. I know the Stallion is not a fan of Shavettes at all. He doesn't like machine blades. He likes straight razor blades because you can customize the feel. So if something feels too toothy, you can smooth it out. If it doesn't feel sharp enough, you can add sharpness. And a machine blade pretty much is what it is. And I have found that I really like the machine blades too, like the Persona hair shaper blades for the WEC, the feather blades. The only Shavette type that I don't like is the DE blades for Shavettes. I'm not crazy about that. I really like the Artist Club and the WEC style. How do you feel about the two?
Dude, I really felt, because the way I started in wet shaving was with a Shavette. I didn't start off right away with a traditional straight razor because I got into this hobby kind of like a domino effect when I started cutting hair. I started doing some barber stuff.
Hmm.
So I thought that the lighter weight and the smaller blade of a shavette was very valuable in me learning how to shave in a straight razor style way. I loved it. It worked great for me. I thought it was invaluable because you guys see, and to this day, you very rarely ever see me cut myself. So
Would
obviously, I
you
developed some skills early on that allowed me not to cut myself. Like you still see people chop themselves to bits.
would you agree that using a shavette, if you use it regularly or you learn that way, will perhaps give you a lighter touch? Because I have found personally, my opinion, a straight razor will give you a little bit of quarter, depending on the straight razor, but generally relative to like a wet. If you press down with that whack, you're cut. If you do anything wrong, it seems to me that the shavettes will cut you far quicker than a straight razor almost every time. And
Yep,
therefore, you have to be more careful and develop a light touch.
I 100% agree with that statement. Um, I have a super light touch with the straight razor, and this is not me saying it to myself. I also give shaves to other people. I shave heads pretty regularly. I do stuff like that. So I do have a light touch. I don't cut other people doing it. So yeah, and I do attribute that to the shavette.
So Pete said his first video shave was with the, remember that, what was it, the Samsung shavette?
It
I
was
want that video to go up again because that's one of the
it was
greatest videos.
bad. It was so bad.
It is such a wonderful story of perseverance where somebody really has it bad. And he's like, "Oh, I cut myself. Oh, I cut myself. This thing's going on the BST like just repeatedly." It was so good, and like he took that down. I'm like, "You got to put that up. Like if that's not a perseverance, a story of perseverance, I don't know what it is."
Dude, and
Because
that video is actually what had me meet Peter Charcalis because he put it on one of the groups. I didn't know who he was, and he put up that video, and I'm like, man, this poor son of a bitch fucking damn near killed himself with that thing. And I reached out to him and I said, hey, dude, the video was fun to watch. Obviously, the shave was rough, but keep doing it. You're gonna be fine. I love the video. I loved your vibe in it. Just keep going. And from there on, me and Peter have become very close. But that's a funny ass fucking video because he was awful. He was completely awful with it.
it is. I generally agree. If you use a shavette, it really helps you, in my opinion, develop a little lighter touch and just makes you more cautious and aware, and that helps. One thing I wanted to mention too is because this comes up from time to time, and I happen to have this handy with PAA aftershaves with this bottle. I know there are many, many people who talk about the restrictor. Now, Douglas has a video where he turns this completely upside down and it creates a vacuum, and then you could shake it. But for me, the easiest way to deal with these is to simply put your finger over the top, like this, finger over the top, hand out, and use your finger as the restrictor, like that. And you'll have no problems whatsoever. And I pour it out of the back of the bottle. I don't ever pour alcohol-based aftershaves over top of the label, even though these labels can handle it. And so I wanted to show people that because I've seen time and time again, people are like, oh, those things make a mess or they're spilling. Just use your finger, put your hand out. It works every single time. It's not difficult to do. I just wanted to bring that up because I have had it handy. And
Well, I have a little bit different complaint with those bottles.
mhm.
I find them to be a little too heavy and bulky. In terms of for storage space, they just take up more room than the flask style or the apothecary bottles. I
Mhm.
prefer the flask or the apothecary bottle shape and size. So I would like to see him go back to those because I just think they're smaller, they're more manageable.
I think he
The
went to these because they look a little better and they're a little, I don't know, they feel better, I guess, in the hand. They got these grooves. It's a nice bottle, but I agree, they're a little more bulky.
For those of us that are hobbyists, we have to store these big old motherfuckers,
Right.
and they're big. They take up space. They take up probably about 15, 20% more size than some of the apothecary bottles. So, for somebody that has more than just what they're using at that very moment, it becomes hard. So they're a little cumbersome. I prefer the other bottles, but the product is the really thing what you're buying them for. I think his aftershaves are the best, personally, but I'm not a big fan of that bottle in particular.
So let's have some appreciation for folks. So this segment is just, we show appreciation for somebody in the community. And you go first, and then I'll appreciate someone as well and highlight someone that I think is worthy of showing some love to.
Well, there is a gentleman here on Instagram. His name is Joseph. I'm not going to give the full name or the Instagram handle because he said he's a little bit more of a private person. But he made it possible for me to own a Martinez blade razor, which I have wanted for years. I can't even tell you how many years it's been. He noticed a conversation I was having in a totally separate person's Instagram post, and when he decided to sell a razor, he messaged me directly with the first offering, and he gave me a killer deal. And I just can't tell you how much I appreciate and how grateful I am to him because again, he didn't have to do that. He could have sold it for double what he sold it to easily, and because he knew how much I wanted it, he took care of me. And I appreciate that. That's why I appreciate the damn community. The community is amazing, and it always takes care of people.
By the way, Glenn Helly, the Sea Monster, needs 6 subs to get to 400, I think. If anybody's on here, go sub to Glenn Helly so he can get that 400, and we don't have to hear him whining about it. Anyway, I'm going to show some appreciation today for Doug Bear. And the reason why is Doug Bear makes these terrific tips, and he privately IMs people and just gives them advice and helps them out. He's given me some advice, and he always has these very clever ways of doing things. It's outside of the box, and he's known as the Barely Normal Wet Shaver on YouTube, and he's made I don't know, probably
BEAR.
He's made maybe 10 videos, but he's such a great guy, and he makes these outstanding tips, and he's just really there to uplift and help people out. And I thought it's worthy of mentioning him. I don't know if he's on Instagram, but he's just a terrific, nice guy who really goes out of his way to help people, and I really appreciate that. So that's who this time, and this is going to be an ongoing segment where we highlight somebody we appreciate every single time, because we talk about all the other stuff that's going on. We should also lift people up and highlight people and talk about the things that we like. I think that's super important. Now, moving on, we're going to talk about the #1 overthinker in the whole of wet shaving. And I'll give you one guess who that is.
Ken
Klitschko. the #1 overthinker, and I don't think he's here tonight because I think he had something to do, but I hope he'll watch the replay.
I'm sure he will.
I was watching his video today, and he invented yet another term that I've never heard about. Intershave nourishment.
What the hell is that?
And David is like, come again? Intershave nourishment. And he said, it is nourishment that occurs from the soap during the shave that mitigates the irritation or sort of makes it less or helps healing as you go, sort of thing. Like, I mean, we can ask him for a more definitive description on what he means by that. But it's essentially, you're not getting irritated as much because the nourishment during, so we used to worry about slickness and all that kind of stuff. And then we worry about post-shave. Now we got to worry about intershave nourishment. It's too much. I can't worry about intershave nourishment. I can't do it.
Well, I've told him before, he makes fucking shaving very complicated. But I think what he's talking
We
about
love
there.
Ken, by the way.
Oh, fucking Ken. Again, that's my bromance. That's my man crush. Ken Shave 326 tattooed right over here, baby. But I think what he's talking about there is the effect of something you don't believe in. It's cushion. I think cushion is what's saving us from that irritation when you're putting straight metal onto your face. I think that's the cushion. I think he's just taking it a step further, which that's what his ass does because I think he's fucking bored or something. But there you go.
I think it was inter, not intra, but enter, shave, nourishment. So we'll follow up with Ken on that one because when I wrote that down today during the video, I was like, enter, shave, nourishment. I was like, oh no, not another thing. I'd be gotta be. So on red scorecard now, he's going to say enter, shave, nourishment is, you know, this. Like, well, now we got to add another metric, you know. So it's like, oh, Ken, don't do it. It's too much. But he really thinks about every little thing. Like, and sometimes I agree, sometimes I don't agree. But I appreciate that he introduces these concepts that perhaps other people aren't thinking about. But when I heard enter, shave, nourishment, I was like, oh, Ken, what are we doing here? I mean, I thought it was really funny as well. It's just one of those things that with Ken, you know, he just got it going on. So let's transition out of that. What are your picks, like product picks that you've really been enjoying since the last Real Talk?
Oh, dude, it's something that I'm kind of ripping you off for something that you talk about a lot, but Sterling Shaving, man.
Yeah.
I bought a couple Sterling Shaving. It's been a while since I revisited them. Again, Zach likes to shave put down at the bottom that I always complain about packaging. And it's true, I do. I don't like the green tubs. I love their product, though, but the green tubs have deterred me a bit. But their stuff is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They have a scent to suit everybody. They have so many options. And, again, for that price and that performance, you can't get much better than that in the community.
Yeah,
People
really
like
good.
this, Shannon soaps,
Yep.
the value of those soaps is it's off the charts.
So mine this time, a couple of things. But this Zaharoff is just, the scent is so excellent, classy. When you smell this, it's like, and it's something that I normally wouldn't be attracted to if you just told me that. If I looked at the notes of this, I would go no. But
You're right. You're right, Nate.
it's so good, and it smells so good that I used it again this week, and I was like, man, this stuff is good. And this aftershave, it brings it. You put this on, and it lasts. Like, it lasts for the majority of the day, if not the whole day. And it is more pricey. And you know me, I don't really like pricey stuff that much. I like to get a good bang for my buck. But this stuff is so good, I can make an exception for a product that has a tremendous, unique scent that is something completely different from everything else. And that's what this is. This is completely different from everything else. And this would be my pick. I also have one other, which is, let me grab them here. The TDR brushes. I just got these back from JR Reyes, and he did a beautiful job with them. I love that.
I love that olive wood. That olive wood handle is so fucking good. Even with that ridiculous synthetic knot in it, if you ever get rid of that, if you ever get rid of that handle, I'll buy it off of you. I love that handle so much.
He does such remarkable work, and there's another olive wood. Just fantastic. And then there's the other one, which I really like as well. That's this one. These are the Sinbads, and this one is the two bed. Kind of looks like Badger. And I was reading, I think I saw today on Instagram that that darn Rob's going to come out with an announcement at some point in the near future about some changes or something. I hope he doesn't change the way he does things in terms of his style of, well, obviously he's not going to change his style of brush making, but he's got range too. Like, he can make many different styles, and I really love these. And so what I'm going to do is just pick up one. Like, I'm going to try to get a Craving shaving brush from Charles, one from Milton from Turn and Shave, and just have a few of these brushes to really appreciate. I had never bought that darn Rob brushes, and I bought these at different times. I bought two of them at one time, and the other one the other time. And I just couldn't resist this one when I picked up the black one, because I was like, man, that's really nice looking. It's refined, and so I really like that darn Rob style, and so that's why I bought those. Aesthetically, they appeal to me, and not everybody likes the same sort of brush handles. Like for example, you had
Oh
that one
shit.
earlier that aren't for us.
Oh yeah, yeah. We've seen a few.
That was funny. I got to tell you. One thing I want to mention before we get to the question. Don't do it. Before we get to the questions, on my channel, we're approaching 5,000. We need 210 subs. This is the second time I've hit 5,000 because on my old channel, it's at 8,000. So on the new channel, we're now about to hit 5,000 for the second time, which would be 10,000. But anyway, there will be a big giveaway that's already been announced. Don't do it. Don't do it. Put that thing away. Put that thing away. Let's get to some of the questions because I think we only have 5 minutes. So, do you have any of the questions?
You have the questions. I can't see them.
Oh, you can't see them? Well,
I
that's
can't
not
see them.
good. Is Peter donating anything? Okay. What I'm going to do is throw the regular ones to you. Skeletor says, let's get CDB to step up and get a badger. Okay, cool. First Canadian, will you guys be having Ryan Finley as a special guest? No, passing on that one. You ever had a broken in bore brush though? Yes, certainly I have. So as to the question, is Peter donating everything? We'll have Pete answer. No, I'm not donating anything. What do I look like, guys? You want samples? I don't have time for samples. I mean, what do you think I got? I don't have time for that. I got orders to go all over the world. I mean, what do you want me to do? You want me to make samples? I don't have time for samples. Samples? There we have it. Pete Charkhouse. If you have any other questions for Pete, feel free to ask. Another topic real quick until questions for Pete come up. One thing I want to mention is your face can adjust over time. So if you declare, especially early on, that you have you don't like X or Y blade, over time you can adjust and you might like that blade. For example, since I've started straight razor shaving and using straight razor blades, now all of a sudden the feather blade does not feel rough on shave one anymore. It used to, but now feather blade on shave one, I never feared it. I never thought it was super crazy sharp, but it used to feel a little rough. Now it feels perfectly smooth. And I've gotten blades from different batches deliberately just to see maybe if it was a batch issue. And it's just that I've gotten accustomed to it. Your face will adjust sometimes, just in the same way that when you first start shaving and you're coming from carts and electric razors, that first few weeks, it's kind of rough. And then your face adjusts. Your face can adjust over time. That's one of the things I wanted to put out. Looks like we got another question here. Let's see. Marion the Barbarian says, no. That one we will pass on. We don't want to introduce any of that kind of stuff, but thank you very much. We have 2 minutes remaining. First of all, let's thank everybody because that's very important. We really, really appreciate you all coming and spending this hour with us. It really does mean a lot. It's not lip service. I know you got things to do on Friday. You spend it with us every 2 weeks. I really appreciate that. David?
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I love the people, man. The power's in the people, and none of this shit will make sense without the people, man.
So somebody said your face adjusts from the intershave nourishment. Now, Jack from the Virtual Groom Room said he's doing a live shave in a minute. So you guys, I don't know if it's going to be on Insta, but if it's on Insta, you guys can pop over and watch Jack. Is anybody else in the audience planning to do anything that we can plug for you while you're here? This is why David can't see the series. Marion said,
Hey,
this
dude.
is why David.
Hey, because if I could see the question, oh yeah, absolutely. If I'm the one that's running the show, it'll be said.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I hope everybody has a great evening. Let's see if I have anything left. We still have 48 seconds, so we got a few seconds to banter around. By the way, cheers to all you wonderful people. Buy an ape brush. So Quinn is selling ape brushes. I think people like the one with the bullet in it.
The headshot. That's a dope ass brush. The headshot.
So Quinn, ape shaving, check him out. He's on Insta. He's on Facebook. Cool dude. He's got a super mustache. He's one of the big
Doug-
mustachioed gents.
Bailey, are you gonna do the post game show over on Leather and Blade?
Probably not tonight. Not tonight. But you're welcome to open it up. You know, go with those rooms, do what you got to do. Thanks, everybody. We appreciate you joining us as always. God bless each and every one of you, and good night.